Hey all, Tony Bing here. Hello and welcome to my Sword of the Elements endgame build for Loki for Marvel Heroes Omega for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So with this build we'll be making use of his sword, Gram, and also the 4 different elemental magic types that he has as well. Now in the video we will cover the skills and talents we use and rationale as to why we use them. We'll check out the optimal synergies, we'll have a look at the first 150 infinity points and where we would place those. We'll then check out a rough gearing priority, and at the end of the video we have a full bounty clear and some gameplay as well. Now if you want to jump to any section, as always, check out the description and there will be timestamps there. Otherwise we'll start off by looking at the skills. For the skill setup here we're using quite a wide variety of skills. We have a sword as our main filler, which is Gram, and you can run into spirit issues with that. I will mention that, but in the guide we'll discuss how you can actually offset that. We'll be using some summons, and we'll actually use all 4 of these different elements as well, and the reason for that we'll see once we get to the talent section. But you've got Gram first, and this gains additional effects from enchantments. If we look at our cooldown skills, we've got Hard Light Spikes, initial damage packet, vulnerability, extra vulnerability for Loki's illusion powers, and a low 4-second cooldown, and this enchants you with Asgardian magic. Next skill we have is illusionary projection. So this will summon 3 projections. It's got a low 4-second cooldown, so it works perfect with the previous skill. You want to run through these twice. Once you've done that, you'll then move over to your 8-second cooldowns. You've got Eternal Darkness. This dot hits for a ton, works as a weaken, terrifies the enemy for 3 seconds as well. We then have Cold Snap. You have your initial damage packet, 2-second freeze, 100% critical hit chance. The cooldown is 6 seconds, so if you're a min-maxer and you want to make the most, you'll bounce back to this and use it every 6 seconds. Personally, being a bit lazy myself, I just drop it in my 8-second rotation. That's why I use Eternal Darkness first, to know when to actually start that rotation. Next skill we have is Searing Embers. Now this hits 5 times, but it actually fires 3 times, so in effect it's 15 hits that it does, and that will enchant you with Muspelheim magic. And then we have the signature Unyielding Power, which applies empowered and works as a steroid, giving you damage and defense as well there. But what we'll check out next will be the talent section. For the talents here, the selection is really much about modifying skills so that we can cover the 4 different magic types in order to get the buff from this first talent, which is Otherworldly Journey. This first talent line is actually pretty fantastic. You've got Maker of Mischief, which is great for summons, and you've also got Spellblade, which is great if you want to have a tanky Loki, but with Spellblade you would really struggle for Spirit on it. Now, Otherworldly Journey, when we use any of the 4 different magics, and we will be using all 4 of them on a rotation, you get a buff for 12 seconds, and this is not overwritten. I have tested this when you use a different magic type, so as long as you're firing for your rotation nice and quick, you will get 15% spirit cost reduction, 25% critical hit damage, 1% of max health regen per second, and also 10% damage, so it's really pretty fantastic. We then have Frost Nova. This transforms Asgardian Light into Cold Snap, which gives us Jotunheim magic buff, and that has the 100% critical hit chance. Next up it's Light Column. So Permafrost Spikes transforms into Hard Light Spikes. This gives you additional damage from your summons, and we do have 3 of them with this build. We then have Eternal Darkness. This transforms Eternal Flame into Eternal Darkness, giving you the Hell magic buff, and the actual dot hits for a ton. It jumps from somewhere in the region of 5.5 thousand up to about 8,000, so it's a really big jump on that. And then we have Searing Embers, and this gives you the Muspelheim magic. So Spirits of the Dead transforms into Searing Embers. Spirits of the Dead would only have 10 hits, this one has 15, so it's well worth upgrading, and it allows you to cover all the 4 different magic types. What we'll check out next anyway will be the synergies. For the synergies we start off with the primary attributes, durability and intelligence. That's covered by Luke Cage and also at the moment Beast. In time I believe Ultron will have intelligence as well. Your more generic ones that work on just about any hero are Blade, Hawkeye, Hulk, She-Hulk and Squirrel Girl. You then have Black Widow, who works great due to buffing melee and range damage tags, and then we take the Loki synergy and the Cyclops, which I know is a strange one, but the Cyclops one will actually give you 4 spirit on enemy defeat, so that really does help with any spirit issues you may have from using Gram. It's the same with the Loki one when you've got the 5% reduction in spirit cost. But next up we'll check out the Infinity Point allocation. This is actually where I now place the first 150 points. Normally I do 100, but as the game goes on and these guides go on, I'll cover a bit more, because this is hopefully the region that a lot of other people will be at as well. For the Infinity Points, it's a nice simple setup. We've got the Mind Gem and Deep Thought, and this is really to offset any issues we may have with Spirit through Gram, because we get the cost reduction of 10% when we placed 100 points into this, and we've also got the 0.5% of your max health regen on hit, which is always good on melee heroes. Now if you feel you don't need the Spirit as much, you can place 100 points into this, and you can certainly place your remaining 50 points or however many you may have into the Space Gem and Gravity Well for a bit more base health there. But for the next section, what we'll do is we'll check out the general gearing priority. For this gearing section then, what I'll do is just give a brief outline of where I would actually head gear wise in order to make this build viable. Now the big issue you come across with the build are your spirit consumption on Gram, and also his tags, because we've got melee, we've got ranged, we've got magic, and we've also got summon as well, so you want quite universal artifacts. Now for the legendary, I'm using the Belt of Apocalypse. Gives me health and defense, great on melee heroes, brutal strike rating, extra spirit, great on them because you've got a larger spirit pool, so it takes longer to run out, and also +4 to all attributes, which is essentially flat damage. You also can use the Macran crystal as well, and that can work great. When it comes to the medallion, any magic heroes who've got dots, you want to use the Malekith medallion, because the 150 health on hit doesn't have an internal 1-second cooldown, so if you're laying down dots you'll be getting 150 health for each of the dots that are ticking. It really is pretty incredible. When it comes to the catalyst, if you can get invisibility, great, go for it, but what you really need is the health on hit, and you without a doubt need to regenerate 25% of your health and 100 spirit when you use your med kit. If you don't have this, you will run out of spirit eventually. For the relics, Relic of Immortal, this is a hybrid one, so it buffs ranged and melee powers. When it comes to the actual artifacts, I'm using the Cargill's rewrites. The reason for that is it's nice flat damage, but on top of that, when you critically hit, you recover 5 spirit as well. Then we do have at the moment the Gem of the Curse, but you can use various different things in here, like potentially Modok could work great, or even the Wizard artifact could work great. The reason I'm showing this off though is really to show off the cosmic item effects which you need. While in combat your abilities cost 15% less spirit, so all these different sources of spirit reduction add up to, I think it's around in the region of about 50%, and with that you can sustain Gram without too many problems. Kind of shows how much it is vastly overtuned spirit wise that you need 50% reduction on it, but we can get there anyway. We finally have the Broken Crown. Now we don't truly benefit from the magic powers because Gram doesn't use it, but it has got intelligence and it's got loads of Loki clones come in, so thematically it works perfectly for him in that regard. Now what we'll do anyway that we've covered the general gearing is we've got some gameplay, and it had to be a run through of Odin's Palace where we take down Curse. So as always, enjoy this gameplay. If there's any questions feel free to ask, and I'll see you all again soon.
defenses!
How clever.